as we say every single Monday morning, tis a vibe. What is up, nerds? It's me, your buddy pal, Hey Archer. Welcome back to Nerdy Coffee here on Nerd Affiliated. So happy that you guys are all here today. I don't know about all of you. Some of you lived a luxurious life. It's like 80 degrees where you are. It's like 90 degrees where you are. Us other folk up here, it's a little chilly. It's a little nippy up here. So I'm rocking the Nerd Affiliated hoodie. But nonetheless, I hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope this is the best and hopefully greatest start to your week ever. Nerdy Coffee. Because you're with friends. You're hanging out with friends, drinking coffee. All the other stuff doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're just here to hang out. You, myself, and the group, and the team, and the affiliates. I'm telling you, I'm in a good mood. I don't know why. I'm in a great mood today. And we have a lot to talk about. There may be some companies that are not in good moods today, but nonetheless, we have a lot to talk about. See all of you jumping into the chat. It's good to see all of you. As a reminder, if you've got a YouTube channel, podcast, a blog, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat. Support one another. Plug yo shit. Boom. We have a new layout, so hopefully you guys like the new layout. I was struggling today and last night with the chat window. So let me try that again. Yeah, I don't know why the chat window. Oh, that's why. Figured it out. Anyway, chat window's back. AKA all of you are back. Now how to get rid of the chat window. Or get rid of this thing. There we go. Boom. Boom. We are in business. Good to see all of you today. Just going up to the top. LeBron in the house. See, I always forget that this show's supposed to be the more tame of the two shows. I often fail at that. Oh, that's right. That light's off. I'm like, why is it so dark? There you go. Different of the two shows. So this is meant to be the more tame, calm, cool, collective show. So I won't hit the button. But I will say hello to LeBron Fett in the house. Good to see ya. T3 in the house. That's right. It's Monday. We're here. Oh, look who decides to show up. It's Rolando. Unbelievable. You know, I truly felt some kind of way. If you guys remember last week, Hey Archer Live, every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated, the show was ending, and I was like, wait a minute. Where the hell's Rolando? Where's Rolando at? I can't believe he missed the show. Rolando is in every single stream of everybody in this chat and everybody on YouTube. I've jumped into random live streams, like just random ass live streams, and Rolando's in the chat. I'm like, I don't understand how you do it, sir. But I'm glad you can get a day off. I'm glad Thursday night you took some time to yourself. That's good. General Kenobi. Good to see you. That's right. Don't forget to hit that. Wow, here we go. That's why I'm on my second cup of coffee today. Oh, I didn't even do my sip. So if you've not done so, cheers to all of you. Once it hits the lips, it's just so good. So good. LeBron says, let's try that again. LeBron says, don't forget to All right, hang on. Whoa. Third time's a charm, I swear to you. Don't forget to give that like button a little tickle. There you go. Everybody saying hi to each other. The man collects in the house. Good to see ya. Creativity from the future. Good to see ya. Coming to us from Twitch. Love that. Everybody saying hi to each other. Upstate New York, cold and nippy. Yeah, I feel that. LeBron says, sorry, not super talkative. Playing Spider-Man 2, but listening. I love that. I love that. How are you enjoying the game? Not to make you have to chat more, but how are you enjoying it? Again, everybody's saying hi to each other. Creativity says, I'm in a great mood as well. Ready to get some projects done. There you go. There you go. T3 says, it's good to see me. No, it's good to see you. We're happy to see you. Aaron Waller in the house. Good to see ya. Archer broke it. I did. I always break it. Rolando, there he goes. Dropping those links. Creativity doing the double time. He's over on YouTube as well. There you go. And yeah, see? You got a day off. I love that. Rolando is the best supporter. He is. He's the best. Patrick in the house. Good to see ya. Know your craft. There you go. And LeBron says, Spider-Man is so epic. Yeah, Spider-Man ruled the weekend. I feel like everybody who maybe one time in their life streamed a video game, was like, I'm streaming Spider-Man. Like, that's just been what's been happening. I posted a meme. You know, let me check to see if it's still live. It's probably past 24 hours already. Yeah, it's not there anymore. I posted a meme that was it was like broke N-words without a PS5 getting ready to play Spider-Man 2, and it's somebody who loaded up on YouTube like the walkthrough. It was like a 2-hour walkthrough of Spider-Man. That's me. I feel like it's a struggle to find time to sit down and not do something not do something YouTube related or whatever. So if I could play a video game, that's like twice a year, 3 times a year, maybe. So normally, to see what's going on in games, I watch the watch parties or the walkthroughs and all of that. Usually I'm watching AfroSenju. That's usually who I watch because he's pretty funny. And that's how I get through the games. Like I watched him play, what was it? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That was the last one I watched. Last of Us. I never finished Last of Us, but I saw how both games went because I watched him play it. So it's normally how I do it. Because they'll get through. What I like about Afro's, let me pull up his YouTube. Not like he needs me to freaking promote him, but I'll pull him up here. Let's see. AfroSenju. God, I miss having the freaking pedal work. For shame. So, Afro, he does live streaming, I think, as well, but on Twitch. I'm not sure. I've never actually watched it, but what he'll do is he'll play the game and he uploads like 30-minute kind of episodes, maybe. That's the best way to say it. And he goes through gameplay. He's going through cinematics, but he's not showing you like every bit of it. It's literally just like what you need to know and what he has like the most reactions to. So you kind of get through, a lot of these games pretty fast if you're just watching him play it. So yeah, if not for him, I wouldn't know what was happening in most of these games. Like, yeah, here you go. Like I was watching it was like 2-3 times a week. He was uploading Fallen Order, and that's how I got through it. So, yeah, definitely give him a subscribe. Again, he doesn't need that from me, but it's definitely fun. Cool. Since we're doing promo, might as well head over to Nerd Affiliated on Instagram. There you'll keep up to date with everything we have going on. Last week was major. Before I go through that, you also want to make sure you head over to nerdaffiliated.com. You'll find links to the latest episodes, but also did a little reorganizing here. 2 different buttons. You can, of course, donate because now we don't have super chats since YouTube started hating on us. So you could donate to the channel that way. And then, of course, you can join the Nerd Foundation as well, we only have the dollar tier. So I'm still working out the paywall thing on another site. So I didn't want to do anything too crazy. So I figured we'll just do a dollar tier. So of course, you can head over there. Link is in the comments and join for $1. Actually, quite a few of you have joined over the last week. So thank you so much for the support. And the first video that will be exclusive. Wow. I tell you, cold weather comes, nose starts to just seal right up. The first video that will be for members only. Right now, there's 2 videos in there. They've been released before, like they're just testers. I want to see how it works. But the first video is going to be members only. Is going to be a version of the New York Comic Con video. So to give you guys a little backstory there, of course, you know, we got demonetized here on YouTube. Happens to the best of us. Hopefully it never happens to you, but it occurred. And I said, I want to put stuff out there, have you guys be able to watch it, but I don't want to follow their rules necessarily. So when it comes to Comic-Con, as you know, we were the Nerd Busters. People loved it. I saw cosplays there that had music incorporated in their cosplays. And I was like, I don't want to be changing audio, putting third-party music where it doesn't apply. Like, I mean, that's what I normally do. But I was like, you know what? If I want a shot of us walking down the aisle to the Ghostbusters music, I want to do that. If I want, there's these cosplayers that were like hip-hop Koopas. They were playing Fat Joe. I want that in the video with the audio. So full version of the New York Comic Con video will be in the member section on the website. And then an abridged version of that will be here on YouTube. Because I have to edit 2 versions, I'm not sure the timeline. I'm not sure how close in time they'll both be released. But again, full version will be on the members site first. Second version will be here on YouTube. And then we'll kind of go from there. There will also be live streams that happen behind the dollar tier. So you can follow for that. But don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going to be one of those guys where like everything is in the member section. No. The dollar tier is merely a donation. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you backing us as we come to you every week. But I don't want that to be like a Patreon type thing where they're like, oh, Patreon exclusive episodes every single week. And you're like, fuck, I can't even watch any of it. I'm not trying to do that. So hope that makes sense. You can let me know. Anthony in the house. Good to see you. But going back a step, you know, over at the Instagram, like I said, we'll keep posting all the new things and cool things happening with us. Crazy. I realized that this week. You know, thanks to all of you for still coming by every week. Thanks to all of you who still watch every week and support us, because we haven't talked true nerd stuff, like as far as what the channel was originally built on, in 13 weeks. Like, we have not talked new movies, new TV shows. We've not reviewed movies, not reviewed TV shows. It's quite insane. So I just want to say thanks. Appreciate you guys sticking with us and rocking with the majority toy content and then just overall tomfoolery. Appreciate that. But I think the highlight was, you know, the past like month, you know, just the whole build up to Comic-Con, the cosplay videos, and then to actually go to Comic-Con, get recognition in 2 different places at Comic-Con, but then also to have Ghostbusters News show our stuff off on his YouTube channel. Last week was dope. Last week was dope. So, again, thank you all for the support. Thanks for continuing to buy the merch. Thanks for resharing things, liking things, all that fun stuff. There's one more person, there's one more outlet that got footage of us, and I'm hoping he releases it. If he doesn't, I caught like a snippet over in our YouTube Comic-Con video that's coming out, but hopefully that gets released. Creativity says, I like the format. Nerd affiliated, fun having coffee with the nerd fam. Exactly. That's what we're all about. That's what we are all about. Everybody saying hi to each other. JB in the house. Good to see you. Good morning, peeps. On a flyby coffee. Signed up for team replay. There you go. Love that. Love that. Yeah. It was a good week. It was a good week. So, this is going to be heavy Haslab talk today. So I'm giving you guys the heads up. But before we get into all that, two things I want to cover. One, shout out to Sting. Shout out to the legend.
Revolution 2024 is for sure.
Wow. Massive announcement by the icon Sting, winding down his Hall of Fame career.
The only thing for sure about Sting is my retirement. Revolution 2024 is for sure.
So shout out to Sting. Going to be retiring next year. Hope you guys are able to hear that. I saw the thing move, but hope you're able to hear that. Sting is going to be 65. Sting's going to be 65 next year, which is insane. Insane considering the amount of activity he's still doing in wrestling. Like, normal people retire at 65. Unheard of that a wrestler still active and still performing well up to 65. So, shout out to Sting, legend, again, icon, as I said. And that last match is going to be an emotional one. That I can tell. LeBron says Sting was always my favorite. He came to a church I went to when I was a kid. Yeah. Super religious guy. Did not know that about Sting. Very religious guy. But what I appreciate about him is that he doesn't throw it in your face. You know, he's humble. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him, especially at cons. Like, he's always happy to see people. So Sting will be missed, but it's just insane to think he's still going. The other one here that I was surprised by, Jericho's 52. Again, I knew he was older, but he's still active at 52. It's crazy. And then you see somebody like Lex. You know, Lex's body now. He's in a wheelchair. You see Lex versus Sting, like same age, but the difference in how they are now, it's quite insane. Man likes to come to work every day. Yeah. The Man Collect says, regardless of the Starrcade 97 outcome, the build up to Sting Hogan is the all-time greatest angle, in my opinion. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, 52. Kenobi's back. There you go. Cool. So I had other stuff on the docket, but I feel like the Haslab is the news. I feel like the Haslab is the news. So I'm going to skip a lot of the other stuff there for today. I might come back to it next week. There's a couple things from the previous week that I may come back to next week. But before we jump on the Haslab portion of crowdfunding, Cobra Mothership. I completely forgot that the Mothership was a crowdfund. I'm pretty sure, unless it's just a pre-order, and if they sell 1,500, they sell 1,500. I'm pretty sure it's a crowdfund because it has here the goal of 4K. Brian and Super 7 are insane. They are insane. Now I saw this. Sorry. I saw this at Comic-Con. Anthony, myself, and Steve walked up to it. Footage will be in the Comic-Con videos. And I got to say, it's impressive. This thing is impressive. However, and I feel like every week I have to say this, I am not a Super 7 hater. I also say every week, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you've not done so. Hit the bell, get notified when new videos come out. But jokes aside, I'm not a Super 7 hater. I love Super 7. I have the Super 7 Conan behind me. I have a bunch of the Thundercat figures. I have, 5 pre-orders that I'm like, can we get those already from Super 7? Love them. But this is insanity to me. Because you just had the cat layer back. It didn't get all the tiers, but it finally backed. And then right on the heels of that, the Mothership is announced. So I'm willing to bet that they think, hopefully that's 2 different groups. You have tons of crossover, of course, but that's a tall order, space-wise and money-wise, to have people back Cat's Lair and then expect them to turn around and back the Cobra Mothership. So we'll be following this one, of course. Like I said, I only realized this weekend that this was a crowdfund. I thought they were just releasing it. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. They got 50 days left. And Cat's Lair, I believe, hit their second tier, whatever number that was. This one, I think maybe if they're lucky, hits the goal. Maybe. But these are all renders. Yeah, early bird special was like parachutes. I don't know. I don't know why they don't have actual photos though. They should really have real photos here. Now that it's out there. Oh wow. Okay. So tier 2 was the bubbles. I didn't realize that. Because I saw the bubbles, the trouble bubbles at the display. I didn't realize that they were part of this. And then you get some troopers at tier 3. Yeah. I don't know why they don't have real photos here at this point, because it's the prototypes out there. But the one that's ending today is the Haslab Giant Man. Yeah. Rolando likes it, though. Rolando says 375 for the win. Kenobi says, are those grocery bag parachutes? Yes. Old school. Taking the plastic bag from your parents to make little parachutes. Yep. Patrick says, like you said, I really want to see these displayed by all the people who backed multiple Joe projects. Exactly. T3 says, I like the Cobra Mothership, but not for 500. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I will never stop saying this. As long as I collect and as long as I cover action figure stuff, I'm never going to let it go. I'm never going to let it go. All these people that are backing, I mean, I'm not going to shout out certain YouTubers because I know that we all run in the same circles. So I'm not trying to put anybody on Front Street here, nor am I trying to burn any bridges. But there are a couple out there, big YouTubers, relative to us, maybe not to YouTube, but big to us, that allegedly have backed Sky Striker, the Hiss Tank, the Cat's Lair, and which one am I forgetting here? I don't know what they've said about the Mothership, but I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, the Ghost. They backed the Ghost as well. So that's 4 things that each on their own could take up an entire room as far as a display goes. So please, if they do an unboxing on one and they're doing the second unboxing, be like, great, where's the other one? When they're unboxing the third thing, great, show us the other two. Where are they right now? And when they get to the fourth, keep it going. Keep it going. Cool story. You got Cat Slayer. Show me Ghost, his tank, Sky Striker in your collection right now. Where are they? Are they even in your house? I know it sounds bitter when I say that. Trust me. I'm looking out for you guys. But Giant Man, 15 hours remain. He has really slowed down. Really slowed down. Now, there's normally a push on the Haslabs at the end. That's how things go. Usually, I will just say all their franchises. So when I say Haslab, I'm talking with their Star Wars stuff, with the Ghostbusters stuff, and then, of course, Marvel Legends. Oh, and G.I. Joe. There's always that last minute. People want to see, all right, how far did it get? What am I most likely getting? Cool. All right, I'm going to back it now. Like, that's kind of what happens. But I also think there's just people who like to have fun with it, and they're like, all right, I'm just going to wait till the end because I know other people are waiting till the end, and we'll see what happens. But right now, they're trying to just get to goal, and you're trying at this point to finish off your classic Avengers team when you get this figure. Now, unfortunately, you're probably not going to be getting these extra tiers. You might not get the zombie head. You might not get the scroll head. But nonetheless, you can still complete your team if that's what you're doing. T3 says, does the Marvel Legends Haslab happen? What's everyone's thoughts? Yeah. Question of the day. Now, Marvel over at Hasbro has one hero that stands tall. One person that I feel not just understands the fans, but explains more than he has to why certain things happen over at Hasbro. And that's Dan Yoon. Now, even though I don't normally do this on a Monday morning show, I'm going to hit the applause button. So Dan Yoon, or Yun, I apologize, I'm probably saying it wrong. I've shouted Dan out a number of times, different live shows, on Twitter, on Instagram, because every time we're like, hey, this is bullshit, why you did X, Y, and Z, he has no issue going on Twitter to be like, well, no, that's not exactly how that works, or this is why we did this, or whatever it is. Dan Yun went on Dan W's channel, Dan Who Reviews, this past Saturday, and this was a very fun interview. Very, very fun interview. I highly recommend that you watch this in its entirety. But there's a couple things I wanted to kind of shout out from this interview. And we're going to play some clips from the interview. But the number one thing that I wanted to shout out, I'm not going to play this part, but the number one thing I want to shout out here that I learned from this. Dan was saying, Dan Y. As I say Dan, I'm only talking about Dan Yoon at this point. Although Dan W was also great in the interview. Dan Yoon, a.k.a. Dan, he noted how when it comes to the Haslabs, or Marvel Legends, in that team, Dwight, Ryan, and himself are the three main faces. So every time you see a reveal, a press conference, or not press conference, but the PulseCon stuff, those segments, you normally see those three. But there's more behind the scenes than those three. May seem obvious, may not to some people, I don't know, but I thought that was a good thing to note. But he also mentioned there are stakeholders involved in all these conversations. Something we've all like kind of debated, we've talked about, we've alluded to, because it would just make sense again that that's what's happening behind the scenes. There's larger players in the room making decisions on what happens with each Marvel Legends release and Haslab and all that stuff. But what was interesting was he said they all kind of do vote on stuff. And there are times where they all don't agree. But based on, I guess position, maybe how many votes you have as far as the decision goes, certain things will come out even if they don't think it will work. Like a good amount of them. And it could be, he doesn't say this part, but it could very well be that Dwight, Ryan, and Dan, hypothetically, right? They're the ones that are marketing. They're the ones doing the character designs, all that stuff. They could be like, oh, this won't work. But then the other stakeholders that maybe don't do that stuff are like, I think it's, history says it will. Do it. That is completely possible. So, like I said, definitely check this out. Great interview. They do compare, and they do talk about this coming off the heels of the Engine of Vengeance and how they wanted to do things a little differently, hit or miss there. They talk about Wasp, them deciding to reveal Wasp when they did. So he goes into way more detail than probably Hasbro would want him to. But again, I think Dan is one of the best parts of Hasbro. Like his honesty, him tweeting, his post, him sitting down to do interviews, I think is one of the best things about Hasbro. But the first thing I kind of wanted to highlight is coming off the conversation about Wasp. And they start to talk about why they even choose certain characters for these things. So let's give this a listen real quick.
Man, you need to refresh your thing, bro.
I told you, you're on the American heart. We're all delayed here in the UK. And it takes a commentator swears or something.
What I love, though, is they are also Dan W. is a Chelsea fan, I think, and Dan Yun is an Arsenal fan. I could have it backwards. But the two clubs are currently playing at the time of this interview. So they're both talking Marvel Legends, but also both trying to watch this game at the same time. And actually the first like half an hour of this interview is them just talking soccer, aka football. So that in itself is pretty funny. But they'll get to it. They'll get to it.
All right, I'm gonna refresh it.
But shout out to like you said, Boog. I've heard some of the comments he said. I know Boog loves to give us pressure a lot on the interviews, and I know some people are saying it's because of Boog that we.
I like
revealed.
that meme, by the way, of that. You know the Keen and Peele meme where it's like Boog saying what up, and it's just you guys sweating because he just hammer with like the questions. Then he doesn't get you a chance to breathe.
Yeah, and no, it wasn't because of Boog that we revealed Wasp. I'm telling you, like from day like -0 or -25 or whatever, when we were all contemplating, did we show Wasp on XYZ date? Like when do we show Wasp? And yeah, we were just flexible, and I'm glad that you guys got to see this photo. I agree with you. I think this photo in itself probably got some backers. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I also think though that like, and if I'm being real with you too, that like, if this fails, let's say, God, knock on wood, it doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do think it does indicate to the greater stakeholders within our team a lot of implications, right? About the character strength and stuff like that. And I know we have like a big community of comic collectors only, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But it is hard for me because I love comic characters too, because there's always a battle of balance, right? There's like MCU characters, comic characters that we have to create, and there's
I'm constantly telling people it's okay to like both as well. You don't have to pick a side.
You don't have to pick a side.
Love both.
I think my only, as I'm doing it right now, I think my only complaint with the interview was Dan W. would interject at times to like help prove Dan Young's point. And I'm like, just let the man finish. Just let him finish. As I say that now, because I'm also trying to avoid a copyright strike. But let's continue.
Like,
I love both.
But it does give indications to all the stakeholders. Like, it makes us question a lot of things. You know what I mean? So hopefully we don't have to have those questions because it will fund. You know what I mean?
I've got wood right here. There you go. I'm knocking on it.
Yeah. So we'll see. Fucking halftime, bro. Yo, what?
I take it.
Oh!
So just
before I cover that part, one of the best parts of this is them watching the game at the same time, and there are various moments like this where they're talking, and then all you hear, "What the fuck?" like mid conversation. It's great. It's great. That one made a lot of sense to me, and I immediately was thinking of the latest like craze, right? Like we're coming off the heels of, well, everybody's, do I buy stuff now or play a long game, right? Like we've all been talking that for a long time. But do you remember how crazy it got last month when the like Thor 2-pack went clearance, the Hawkeye with the cycle, the Doctor Doom, like those packs, when those went clearance, everybody went nuts. They're like, "Oh, now go. Everybody get it." So it's interesting to see like what people are buying and when they're buying it. I think that the Marvel Comics side of the Marvel Legends is the weakest side. Like I don't think I'm breaking any news here by saying that. But I think if this Haslab doesn't back, that might nail in the coffin a lot of that stuff. Because they're already coming off the heels of, just dust, just shelves full of the comic series figures just covered in dust. These companies, or actually Target, I think had the exclusive rights to that one. Target not even placing reorders because they're like, I'm not selling any of it. And then they clearanced in like, what, less than a month is when they went on clearance. So you already had that sign that the comic side of Marvel Legends isn't doing well. But now your first Marvel Comics Haslab also doesn't back, off the heels of the Engine of Vengeance, which was also kind of a comic Haslab. Not nearly as popular, but kind of like that was never like on. Oh no, it was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it wasn't even really that version. So, coming off that stuff, you're like, all right, maybe we shouldn't focus on the comic stuff anymore. Like maybe that should be, seldomly we drop, here's a comic version of Cyclops. Here's a comic version of Iron Man. But like, that's it. Like maybe it's just here and there. The Captain America sold well. Remember that Captain America from the comic that at first was at GameStop only? It was like blonde hair, came with the like Dio thing, was on the bubble. Like that, I remember that wave. It was him, Hulk, and Iron Man. Those three sold well. But everything else doesn't seem to really move from the comic side. So him saying that, I was like, this may nail in the coffin the comic side of stuff. So I thought that was, again, he sometimes gives, in my opinion, more information than he probably should, but that's why we also like him. So Kenobi agrees with those. T3 says, really? I don't know. I feel like the movie figures sit more often. 20th anniversary Toy Biz line. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. I think the movie stuff is starting to, but specifically the movie characters that are not like the main characters. And I mean the not even at this point movies, but the Disney Plus waves are because the shows are terrible. So the shows are terrible, so nobody's buying them. And we'll kind of get into that idea of stuff a little bit later. But I think it's tied to poor content on the newer things not moving, but a lot of the older stuff is going. So they talk a couple times about the overall fandom and how they do tend to critique things, and their answer there was even a bit surprising to me.
Yeah,
But
let's
like,
do it.
what's your thoughts on the campaign in general? Like, and I want your honest feedback too. Like, what
Yeah,
are
no,
your
of course.
and
Like,
what the chat is thinking too? You know?
Yeah, I'll go and read some comments from the chat. So, chat, if you wanna get our attention, as I said, I will go back and read every single super chat. So I will come to them very shortly. So get them in now. If you've got a question or any thoughts, whatever is on your mind on this Saturday afternoon. But yeah, in regards to the campaign, I'm not gonna lie, the Engine of Vengeance left a bad taste in people's mouth, just in the community in general. Like, it just, for a long time, it lingered. Like, I've seen people, again, very dramatic, but both ends of the spectrum, where some people are like quitting, like they're just, I'm out, I can't be out, I don't want to be involved with this hobby anymore. It's like the word toxic gets thrown around a lot.
I think that's a bit extreme. I do think that's a little extreme. I don't think people were like, oh, Engine of Vengeance made me quit Marvel Legends, but it probably made them have less faith in the team to be like, oh, this is what you're gonna give to me if you want me to spend $450 on something. Like, this is your option. But to just straight up drop the line, I don't think that's it. I think not having figures on card might do it. I think not releasing a lot of accessories in a pack might do it. Engine of Vengeance, I think, is a bit of a stretch.
And again, people like to say criticism's toxic. I'm not one of those people. I do not think criticism is toxic, but people sometimes blur those lines, and it's very frustrating. It's like, no, there are definitely toxic people, but I'm not saying everyone who's critical is toxic. That's never the case. But there was a lot of bad vibes in the air. So with this Haslab, we were all speculating like it had to be a home run, like just for the sake of Marvel Legends,
which we've talked about.
Had to be a home run. So a lot of us assumed Giant Man would be the way to go.
Yeah.
And I think everyone predicted it would be Giant Man. Dwight was basically telling us it was Giant Man on the run up to the campaign anyway. Like, I don't know. He's clearly not got any marketing skills, Dan. You just need to get him in
the He surprised me and Ryan, I will say that.
Yeah. And, he basically gave away it was Giant Man on the lead up to that. But again,
and we talked about that. Remember when they announced this and everybody was shitting on it? We said, even though this is not the most popular character, or maybe a character people really asked for, is probably going to be the safer bet and the one that most people would end up backing. Because the price point, it's a character you kind of need if you want to complete a team. And it's detail. The finger articulation, different heads, the textures, all that stuff. It's everything on paper seemed to make sense. But we also said it wasn't like the greatest idea. This isn't like you releasing a second Sentinel at a lower price point that people are like, oh shit, $200? Less articulation. I'm buying it though because I'm going to army build it. It's not that. But, you know, these are kind of things that we mentioned when we first heard about this. And yeah, Kenobi, I agree. Maybe just quitting on Haslabs, but not quitting on the series. LeBron says it seems like Power Rangers was doing better than Marvel when it came to what got clearanced out. Depends on the Power Rangers. I mean, I don't think the Cobra Kai wave moved even on clearance. The last clearance Power Rangers I remember moving fast was the Ninjetti wave. Because that's how I got my Tommy Oliver, which I ended up selling. Because I, at the time, didn't really need it. Kind of regret it, but I feel like the Power Rangers, if it's not any of the Mighty Morphin team, it will sit. It just sits. And that's something that I think is going to be hurting, or it has already hurt Power Rangers. That's probably why we're not getting a lot of stuff anymore. Patrick says, I guess Hasbro Marvel people are done with oversized characters. The green humanoid thing is I've seen nowhere. Oh, yeah. That was the other one. Yep. I don't know if they're... That's the thing. It's like what characters, like what oversized characters. And I'm glad you said that because we do get to that at a certain point here. But let's proceed.
it was Giant Man. We'd just been used. So again, even me and Rich did a whole stream on what we were going to get, and of course, me and Rich dial it up for the sake of conversation. Like we never like Rich didn't really think you were going to give us like one of Hank Pym's daughters from a future reality or whatever. Like we're just for the sake of conversation, we just like to dive into those things. But we genuinely I genuinely thought the base campaign would be a figure. And Giant Man, and I thought like a smaller version or a Wasp would have been a perfect way to go. So when I first seen it, my initial reactions was, "Oh, where is the figure?" Like genuinely, that's just where my brain went. And then the price point was under 200, which also surprised me because it was the cheapest Marvel Haslab ever. And I say cheap, obviously £200 is still a lot of money, but in regards to the Haslab scheme, especially coming off the back of a £500-600 Ghost, I thought £200 was very reasonable for a Haslab project. But then it also throws up those questions of like, well, if it's only 200, why is it a Haslab? Why couldn't it be on Pulse? I know I see a lot of people argue about that. Can you speak on that in any way? Like why a project to like Giant Man is harder to do on Pulse or at retail?
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of reasons why. So I wouldn't quote my answer right now as like the Hasbro answer, but there are a lot of speculation online in the community. Oh, it's like the size of the package or the price point or things of that nature. I think ultimately, if I make it the simplest as possible, right? Like it's strategically the best for the business. To put it this way, like I'm not going to go into the reasons why that is, right? And you could speculate that, but from both a retailer standpoint and from Hasbro's standpoint, I think this gives us the best ROI, like return on, and
investment.
And so that's why that's like a really messed up way of answering that question, I guess. But it's because I don't want to go into too much of the minutia and the details of why.
Of course.
Because
again,
then
just for the chat, this is a casual Saturday conversation. This isn't an official Hasbro thing. Me and Dan are watching Chelsea and Arsenal talking toys, so that's what.
So like, I'll just say that whenever we choose any decision basically for a figure, like there are certain reasons why they're made as a Haslab versus not versus exclusive, right? Or etc. Right? And at the end of the day, like I feel like sometimes in our community, people are easy to be like, oh, it should have been X, Y, and Z. It should have been that. But like in the background, there are a myriad of reasons why we executed the way we did. You know what I mean? And ultimately, like we have to think of it from a business perspective as well. So, and unfortunately, that's not the most digestible answer. And trust me, like if I was not part of Hasbro and just a collector, I can understand and I can truly empathize why like some people ask those questions. So it's completely fair.
I also do think there's some gray area in regards of a company like Hasbro having to do Haslab, which is a whole nother conversation. But there is a portion of people out there that just genuinely don't want to support that type of avenue type thing.
Crowdfunding.
So, and
sorry, just to pause for a second there, because Kenobi says maybe share a few of those answers. I think one of the biggest reasons would be revenue share, right? Right now, if they take a line and put it in Walmart, put it in Target, they got to share the profits on that. That has to be shared amongst everybody involved. You also have to pay the logistics side, right? So behind Dan is the X-Men 97 wave, which I think I have a portion later that we'll listen to where he talks about that a little bit. But that Marvel Legends, X-Men 97 wave, to go out, you have to package everything, right? In crates of the stuff. Send those out to different distribution centers. Break those down. Send those out to smaller distribution centers. Break those down. Send them to the respective stores. That's a lot of different points where you have to like break off a piece of the profit. So on something like Giant Man, it's gonna give them more of a profit, but also in turn keep the cost down to keep that in house, keep it with them. Because also they right now the comics, the Marvel comic side of the Legend series, GameStop and Target. That's usually the two avenues they go. So now I'm not breaking off a piece to two different companies. It's just me. And the shipping cost is covered by the customer, right? I'm sending one-offs to everybody, and you're paying the shipping per thing. So it helps keep the cost down, and I think that's the part that he can't say because of business reasons. You also don't want to like talk on their contracts with Target and Walmart and all that stuff. But I think that's going to be the number one reason, because this isn't one of those figures where they probably have to pay likeness rights or anything like that.
And for those people, just to start to interrupt, it's just like, at the end of the day, like, I just want to emphasize again, like, there's so much craziness to life already, like outside of like the toy world, right? And so at the end of the day, this is a premium toy that is not like, you know, like a basic necessity or like a medical thing that's needed to save lives or anything like that.
We said it's a luxury, yeah.
So, yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man.
No.
So, the only complaint I had on the entire interview was what I don't like when people are selling something, right? This isn't them specifically. A lot of people do this. A lot of creators do this when it comes to, and maybe I do it a little bit. I don't know. But I feel like a lot of artists and creators, when selling something, will be like, all right, this is the coffee cup that's for sale. This is $33. It is $33 because it glows in the dark. You'll see the detail here of the Starbucks logo. You see the exclusive part of the sticker here. Trust me, you should buy this thing. There's a lot of work that goes into this. That's why it's $30. Like, you should get it because you're not going to get another cup like this one. Like, you should buy this one specifically. Like, this one, I don't like that. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's the price. It's the price you want to give it to us for. Don't break down why it had to be $30. It's just $30. It's just $30. So I don't like when they get to that level. But then when it comes to a lot of the characters that we like, a lot of companies, again, it's not just them, will go into like, oh, well, this character was really integral. I'm fucking the word up. Really important. I'm a dummy, I tell you. Really important to this storyline, so that's why this character has to be out. But that's also why this character has to cost a lot of money, because you're going to need this character because this character was an issue this, issue that, blah, 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 blah. No. This is the character. You want it, you don't want it. End of story. End of story. I wish I could sell you this cup, Kenobi. And LeBron. T3 says it should have been a Pulse exclusive. They do talk about that in this interview. I don't think I timestamped that one, but he essentially said it was costing again. Patrick says, do G.I. Joe, Star Wars, and other Hasbro reps go on pods or videos to add additional Haslab promo like Dan and Ryan do? I don't think so, but I also don't follow them, so I could be wrong. They probably do. But I like that Dan, he does speak up, and I think it helps a lot. And maybe a Power Rangers, the Power Rangers line could use that. Maybe the Star Wars line could use that. But you know what? When it comes to Star Wars especially, like, they probably pay so much to Disney for a lot of their stuff that it kills them. And that could happen here too. Like, maybe Giant Man would have been $150, but you got to break off a piece to Disney. So a lot of moving parts. There you go. Kenobi says, I haven't seen it for Star Wars. Like, and Kenobi would know. But speaking of Kenobi, and actually, before we get to that, there's one other thing people were mentioning, and I want us to cover that before I get to something that pertains specifically to General Kenobi.
Time. So that was our Mexican friend, Little Pieces of Plastic. Thank you very much for the super chat. I always try and say, at least the option is there. At least the option is there. It shows that they're aware that there's a market and they're trying to get it out to you. But Little Piece of Plastic said they'd love to have an interview with you guys sometime. Psylocke
let's fucking go!
Oh, don't
Come on!
Okay.
Let's fucking go!
I love it.
Psylocke, you can answer this while I watch this nonsense. Psylocke says Ryan started that the tiers were already included in the base price, so why not add the tiers with the base price and not hold them hostage? 100% fund. I don't quite understand that. So Ryan said the base price, so why not add the tiers to the base price and not hold them hostage? I don't really understand that question.
I think what he's saying is another business model type of question.
okay.
So it's like, why don't you
Like a Kickstarter, you can add on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not going to give reasons why or why not. It's just again, it's.
Did Royce score?
Yeah.
Royce is in my fantasy team as well. I take it. I'm
Oh
on fire.
my God.
See, I love it.
I've got
I
Saka,
love it.
Royce, Palmer, and Sterling in my team for today.
He scored a beauty.
I would take it. If as long as Chelsea win 2-0 or 2-1, I will take it.
No. I feel the momentum now.
Oh, that's a good goal, to be fair. Quick reactions, but we shouldn't have let that happen. Shouldn't have let that happen. Sorry, Psylocke, I interrupted your question there, but it's an interesting take.
No, it's. I understand the question, and my answer to you, Psylocke, is it's a business decision that goes beyond just myself, Ryan, and Dwight, and we definitely. I understand what you're asking, but I don't have an answer for you that will satisfy what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's they did it once. And I think that's what gave me the idea that they should do it more often. I can't remember what was that with the Rancor, where they all of a sudden were just like, all of it's gonna come with it. If you back it, all of it's coming. Maybe it wasn't the Rancor. There was one of them. I know it happened with, maybe I'm thinking of this, with the Nitro stage. They eventually were like, you're getting all these figures, just back the damn thing, and it didn't work. So maybe I'm confusing Mattel with Hasbro on this one, but we've talked about that too. Just throw in all the tiers, tell us what we're getting, and then we'll go for it. I mean, especially with the Ghost. The Ghost was the one where I was like, there's no reason these figures should be behind a paywall. But like they said, there's cost reasons to it. If you get to a certain volume, you have such a profit, you can justify making these other figures because it doesn't hurt the profit as much. So that makes sense. Patrick says to General Kenobi, got it. Feel like the Marvel team does at least speak to the people more than I've seen, but it doesn't always translate to helping the campaigns. Yeah. And I think that has to do with just what they're choosing to campaign. Give them respect for showing up to all these places. Yeah. Kenobi agrees. T3 says, yeah, only with Marvel Legends. Yeah. But like I said, there was a part of this interview, and I encourage you to watch the whole thing. It's awesome. He talks about a lot of different stuff when it comes to the behind the scenes to Marvel Legends. But this actually applies to T3 as well. So this is for both of you here. And where are we at? I think we're about here.
Oh my God. Okay, no, nothing happened.
Okay,
he almost scored.
Ryan,
He almost scored.
Ryan, I just think whenever I'm trying to dig, just quickly jump to the football to escape. So Ryan did confirm in some of the New York interviews that the VHS boxes would be continuing, and the Spider-Man theme would be continuing in 2024. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I believe he did confirm it. So yeah. So
he
we
did.
will.
I'm not setting you up. He did confirm it.
No. We are definitely doing the Spider-Man animated VHS 2-packs still. And I just want to really clarify too, because, and I think he already mentioned it in previous interviews too, but there has been a lot of speculation of trying to complete the VHS for the X-Men, the single ones, and just with the timing, X-Men 97 is the priority when it comes to that, right? So in order
that's
to
media, isn't it? That's what's in the zeitgeist now.
Yeah. So
this part right here, key.
So that's why we had to take a pause, because honestly, before we even knew X-Men 97 was happening, that's when we already started development. You know what I mean? There's a high chance that if we knew X-Men 97 was going to happen,
you
like
probably wouldn't have done X-Men
yeah,
VHSs.
Yeah. So with that, the silver lining is like we get to continue some of the characters that I love personally a lot for the Spider-Man VHS stuff. I know you're always and I'm
mate.
I'm conflicted too because I love the blister card, right? And I love the retro card. I'm
happy. Don't get me wrong. Peter Parker, right, is one of my favorite action figures. Full stop. Period. Because that's an embodiment of why I collect toys. It is that nostalgic, that plastic representation of the thing that I loved. Do you know, like, and that Peter Parker that recently came out in the 2-pack with Strife is a beautiful figure.
Yeah.
And I'm happy it exists, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But like for me, just selfishly, just speaking for myself,
we've talked about it.
Would have been great on a retro card.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean?
So like, how many years do you think we need to wait until
0
we do that?
0.
Like,
you could give us Peter Parker right now on the retro card in his polo.
We've talked about
it. Do you know? Cause I'm sure that was a conversation you guys had. Like, do you have the salmon shirt or do you go for the polo shirt, like the sort of green and striped one?
If you actually look at the episodes, though, I believe he is in more of the salmon.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you watch my review, I said that I was on your side. I was saying like that's my mind's eye. Like, I don't get me wrong, the other one is familiar as well, but I do think the salmon shirt is worn more. But that other one is still like it's still in people's mind's eyes as well. So
it's the more iconic shirt, and we talked about that when we did the unboxing. We were like, "This is great for what it is. We've wanted this figure forever. Head sculpt, amazing, but the polo shirt needs to happen. Put that on blister. Put it on the card back."
Like, I think, and that Peter Parker head sculpt was so good. Get that out there again, because if I remember correctly, the VHS sets are usually a Pulse exclusive shared with Disney, so they're not like mass everywhere. So maybe another opportunity to get that Peter Parker out there to the masses, I think would be great. And it just confirms to people as well that just because we're getting Spider-Man VHSs into 2024 doesn't mean we won't get any more Spider-Man retro, because you've been teasing me down on Twitter. You've been teasing me every time there's a Spider-Man retro picture. You just drop in with a GIF. And I'm like, you're just teasing me now. Like, so are more again, this isn't confirming anything, but are more Spider-Man retro cards coming? You don't have to say when or who, but
I'm just saying we're losing 2-0.
See, that's
and
a yes. That's a yes. I translate that into a yes. Okay.
Same.
And let me just show you this image as well, by the way, because one of the most frustrating things as a collector, and like as a collector who's been on the Legends game for years, I completely understand that you have to constantly get out the most popular characters again to try and entice the new collectors and the new people. Like, I completely understand, but keep us in mind, like, let's complete a team in one format, please. Okay, look at this graphic right here. Shout out! I didn't make this graphic. I can't remember who sent it me, but whoever sent it me, thank you very much. But this graphic alone highlights the gaps, and my like, I don't want to say OCD, but my OCD in like, just give us a team, the Jim Lee era team in one format, please. Okay, you're very close, very close. Just print out this graphic. I'll send it. Print it out and just put it up in your offices or whatever it needs to be.
Just print it out, mail it to Dwight in Rhode Island, and I'm sure he'll be like, "What is this? I don't know what this is."
Yeah, you know, it's just so close. Look at that. Just so very frustrating. So, but you have confirmed more more X-Men
Spider-Man. Yeah. No, we have not confirmed that.
You
but,
did. You said at MCM Comic Con.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's not MCM, at New York. You definitely said expect more 27.
Yeah. I think X-Men 97 is going to be
27, 97, you know what I mean?
No. So we're definitely going to have a couple of more X-Men 97 stuff and more Spider-Man VHS stuff, you know. What and I know you guys already did
this part, and I need you guys to answer this in the chat. I have my answer, but I need you guys to answer this in the chat because I feel like Dan W's answer, while cool, and I get the reason, 1000% disagree. 1000% disagree. Let me know your answer to the next question.
Did a live stream about this too, but like, which one from the Spider-Man series is like your top? Is it like Chameleon, or is it like who's like
right now it's Chameleon. Now I've got Peter Parker and I've got MJ and even Aunt May, which was a great treat, by the way. I love that we've got that sort of that trio of civilians. Again, I take Felicia though as well. Don't get me wrong. But I think Chameleon now to compete, because on the actual animated show they never called him the Sinister Six. It was like the Insidious
Six.
Yeah. So like, we just need all those main characters, and I think Chameleon's look on the animated show is a little bit different to how he appears in the comics, so it's a bit more unique, so it sort of has to be associated with a VHS or retro. Now, I know you've obviously, you already know what the VHSs are going to be next year, so I won't pry on that, but he would look beautiful on a retro card. That would be my
Madam
preference.
Web.
Chameleon
Good answer.
on a retro card, but as long as Chameleon happens in some format.
Kenobi, do you want Madam Web? Because that's a hard one to card back. Because you need the throne, right? You need the throne. Would you Madam Web card back? Oh, what if? Got you. I got you. If they do similar to the Iron Man, with the proton cannon, right? Not photon, proton. If they, in the box, she's on card back, but it's a larger box, and then you also have the throne in there as well. You know, you probably assemble it or whatever. But you get a giant VHS style box. You open the box, Madam Web's on card, and then you take out the throne, put it together. So if you want to take her out, you could. If not, she's in there. That's the move. Good pick, though. Good pick.
I think the collectors will be happy.
Okay.
Because I'm a mint and box guy when it comes to the retro stuff. I'm an idiot. I buy one of each. But a majority of people out there are not an idiot like me. They just like to add the characters to their collection. So as long as he gets out there in some format,
I agree with that.
Chameleon would be widely appreciated from the community. That's what I'm just saying.
I will warn people, and this is some
Tombstone,
inside baseball, so I mean, you guys will get the scoop first, but in the Spider-Man VHS stuff, some of the characters that we're going to be putting into might not make sense episodically. So we are aware of that when we make some of the decisions for next year. I just want to give you a hint there.
It's funny. I actually thought about that when they put Smythe and Peter together. I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it. So he's acknowledging there is a reason for that. T3, hold on to that thought.
Makes sense.
So there'd be characters paired up that ain't necessarily in the same episode together, essentially.
Yeah.
But can you confirm that everybody on the VHS cards are 100% in the animated show?
Like, you mean in the 2-packs?
In the 2-packs, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be in the animated show.
Yeah. Because on the retro card, you've gave us plenty of characters that ain't necessarily in the show.
Right.
Do you know, like
But
when it comes to the VHS,
version.
you're going to keep it canon. If they're in the VHS box, they 100% appeared on the show.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, interesting. So the characters.
I know the OCD is gonna hurt you there, but
again, for me, I open the VHSs. I keep them displayed on the back, but I don't feel obligated to buy two because it's in the plastic free
which
boxes,
we talked about also.
Thank God are gone, by the way, but you don't have to comment on that.
No comment.
But I display them behind. So as long as the figure is a character that I want, I'll be happy. But let's go back to some of these super chats again.
I thought it was in this clip, but it's probably somewhere else in the episode. They mention Punisher. He's like, I want Punisher would be dope. And Dan's like, oh yeah. He's like, Punisher with the trench coat and with the blasters, because you couldn't have guns on the show. Punisher would be great on card back. They gotta have like that bluish tint to the jacket. I want Eddie Brock. I want human version Eddie Brock on card to go with Venom. That's my answer. Madam Web, yes. Daredevil for sure. Need that. And the Punisher, do that. But yeah, great episode. I really enjoyed this interview. It, like I said, Dan goes through a lot of stuff and didn't have to. I want Spider-Man Big Figs Rhino style. There you go. Vulture was the other one that LeBron mentioned. Be a good one. Smythe Parker pack is the weirdest duo, but maybe the future sets pay off. Yeah. Yeah. They got to do the Spider Slayers, man. Ooh. Yo, what if that was the Haslab? Imagine the sales on that Smythe 2-pack. Because they were already crazy because of Peter Parker. But imagine the sales on that if the Spider Slayers were what the Haslab was. That would have been insane. Insane. But yeah, great interview. Love the conversation. I'm mad. Dan Hu has a segment called like Toys and Liquor or something like that. Where's my invite? Why am I not on that show? Let's make that happen. But Dan Yoon, I would love to have him on one day. Gonna try to make that happen. Spider Slayer would be the quickest Haslab I'd back. 1,000%. 1,000%. I agree. I'd like to see Eddie Brock. Yeah, human form Eddie Brock. I think that's necessary. I mean, they need to redo. We need another wave of just a Spider-Man from the series. But, if you don't want to ruin the OG stuff, give us another Spider-Man wave. Release. Animated series, cel-shaded release with a new articulation. Because then, people who want the old articulation, they buy that pack. Otherwise, they buy the new pack. Give us that one. Because I need Spider-Man for the end. I mean, I'm happy with the Renew Your Vows 2-pack Spider-Man. Like, that's the best Spider-Man figure I've ever purchased. But I need the cel-shaded one. Re-release it. New articulation. I'm taking that bitch out of the box. We're doing that. But, oh, my God. If it was a Spider Slayer, Spider Slayer would have been, what, like 500? Maybe? Let me pull that up real quick before we call it an episode. Let's see. Animated series. Here we go. Because that was the thing, too. You had the different ones. And then they could all jump on each other and shit. Like what do you do? Do you release just one of them? Like which one do you choose? They talked about Felicia Harding though. They talked about Civilian Felicia, another Black Cat. That would have been great. Flash Thompson, sure, why not? Give us a Flash Thompson. But man, if they did a Spider Slayer, insanity. I don't even know how you would do that. Sorry, without the pedals, man, it really slows down my screen jumping here. Like Spider-Man with the Doc Ock arms. Daredevil was done, but I want Matt Murdock animated series suit. But that Daredevil wasn't the version from the series, which I think it was in that clip. If not, it was somewhere else in the episode where, like he said, there was characters on the card back with the animated series logo that weren't in the series or variants. Daredevil's one of them. I wanted to buy that Daredevil, paying the markup for it, but I was like, it's not even the right suit. So, and I regret not buying the 3-pack Daredevil with Elektra. I don't know. I was like $80 and I only want one of these figures. Not the thing. T3 is Team Daily Bugle Haslab. I hear you on it, but I feel like the Firehouse is if we're gonna do a play set at 6-inch scale, I feel like the Ghostbusters Firehouse is the move over the Daily Bugle. Daily Bugle's cool. I like it. Iconic. But I think if I'm Hasbro and I'm sitting down with the teams and I'm like, all right, I'm going to give one of you guys the chance to do a play set. Make your argument. I think the Firehouse is the move. Anthony loves the OT today. Or the Spider-Man version of the X-Men. They looked different in the show. They did. That was so confusing as a kid. I was like, why? Like, why are they like this? But I'm sure they'll release it. Mayfix Daredevil, yeah. It's funny. Dan says his figure of the year is the Nightwing by Mayfix, which everybody loves that figure. People love that figure. He also talks about other series or franchises he wished he could have under Hasbro, he could work for. So like I said, check it out. Great interview. But yeah, we're in OT. I need to get to work. As Phil mentioned on his stream the other day, I must have the day off on Mondays. Incorrect. Once the show's done, I usually try to timestamp it before I head to work, but today I don't think I have time. So those of you who listen audibly on your favorite podcast platform, you're probably going to have to wait a little bit. If you come back for timestamps, you're probably going to have to wait a little bit. And for the clips, you're going to have to wait a little bit. But I want to back it. I want to back it just because of Dan. So before we leave, let's just do one quick refresh of the page. So right now we're at 7,759, hitting refresh. 7,829. All right. Almost 100. So we'll see. We'll see. But like I said, man, no rhyme intended there. But like I said, man, if not for Dan, the man, I'd have no interest in this. But he really wants this figure. He really wants this thing to back. And Dan seems like such a good dude that I kind of want to help him out. So, I know we're not going to get the other stuff. And I don't even have this team. But at the end of the day, I would love more $200 price point Haslabs. Is what it is. So, all right. There you go. It's a wrap. We'll of course keep you guys up to date on the progress as the night goes on. Make sure to follow on Instagram. That's where we'll be doing that. There won't be any last minute stream like other people normally do, but stay tuned on Instagram for that. Which button is it again? It's that one. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Heritage Live every Thursday, 8:15ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. But as you just witnessed, every Monday morning, 9 a.m.-ish Eastern, here on Nerd Affiliated. We have Nerdy Coffee. 2 different shows, 2 different vibes. Either way, you're stuck with this guy. Are you backing the Haslab? Are you backing Giant Man? More importantly, though, are you backing the Cobra Mothership? Are you backing the Mothership? I think I know the answer. Sorry. Like, comment, subscribe. Head to nerdaffiliated.com. Join the channel memberships for $1. Help us keep the coffee cups filled. Pick up some merch while you're there. And we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. I'll find a way to sell this to you. We're out of here.